This is TWiT.
We have been talking on this show about what the heck is going on with Wear OS and Google's wearables trajectory. Well, we may soon have an answer. So what we were talking about today on the internets was Alphabet might someday soon own Fitbit, according to sources from Reuters. So an offer has been made. No price has been leaked. There's no guarantee at this point that the deal will happen. It's just simply that Google's interested and has made an offer. As you will recall, in January, the Fossil Group agreed to sell its smartwatch IP to Google for $40 million, which, again, saying that number out loud feels paltry in comparison to what some other things are worth. But, listen, this piece of news got a lot of folks talking today. A lot of folks actually got pretty excited about it. I even saw some people tweet like, well, time to dust off the wearables notebook, like time to, get back into that swing of things and reporting on that news. So I don't know. How do you guys feel having an Android Fitbit smartwatch? Maybe.
Ron, go.
Oh, I was going to say, if anybody we all know that the way wearables played out was in two camps. Watch manufacturers making the 21st century watches that have smart capabilities and fitness, right? And the major driver of sales is fitness. And Samsung has been successful. Others have been successful there. Google doesn't really have an entry, a piece of hardware to accompany their Google Fit, so the Google Fit app. So this makes sense in that degree. Buy the best in the business. If you're going to, and that's what Google often does. If anything, this shows kind of a bit of a surrender for Google's internal kind of wear strategy. It's like, well, the only way for us to catch up is to buy someone who's been doing all the work for the past 5 years.
That's kind of how it feels, right? Like when I read this, I was like, okay, so who is this better for? Is this better for Fit? Is this good for Fitbit, or is
good for Fitbit shareholders?
But I suppose so. Are people at Fitbit happy, like, to be swallowed up potentially? None of this is actually happening yet. This is just reports of this happening. But do people that are working on the Fitbit project, are they happy about this? Do you think? Like, oh, so we're gonna go to Google, because you know what happens to things that go to Google.
Their market share. What was that? Man, I forgot what it was, but their market share is, they have a lot of competition on the market right now, because it's not just them.
Garmin.
They have a good chunk of it, but the Apple Watch is like surpassing everybody.
That's it,
with its abilities. And, it's the only thing that's available for iPhone users. So that's like a given to go there.
Yep.
And Samsung is doing really darn well with its wearables. And I feel like that has been the viable option for Android users. And even though Fitbit had they have the Versa and they have, they have different form factors. You can wear like a band versus a watch. It's still limited in capacity. In terms of like what you can do with it. I think people do want apps and not just health, that's just icing on the cake.
Yeah, well, and I think if you get someone like a Fitbit, you get the health thing covered, and then you can expand and build upon that. Looking at Fitbit, I don't know much about the world of finance and all this sort of stuff, but before this news broke, their stock was hovering around for like $4.50 or so, and they've got a market cap of $1.4 billion. So they are not as valuable as they were when they IPO'd 4 years ago, right? They've definitely been on the decline from a business standpoint. So it could be a good acquisition target, and it helps Google, kind of get back in the game on wearables.
And just looking right now, the stock jumped from about 450 to 550.
Yes. Yeah, 564. I think it's what it closed at.
That's like a 20% jump, a 30% jump on the day. So,
but the stock is $5.
Yeah, totally. It's pretty low. I'm interested. I do think that there's something to what you said as far as Ron, as far as kind of like an admission of like, all right, well, what we got going really isn't working. Or maybe it's that in combination with the Fossil IP, in combination with this Pixel Watch that Google is supposedly working on. Who knows?
Well, the bigger question is if you look at Fitbit, is that Fitbit is a large hardware like it's a hardware manufacturer.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, and so you have a similar. I mean, it's not so much an acquisition, but the strategic investment in HTC has worked because it gave us this line of pixels. So we assume.
Yeah.
And so could acquiring Fitbit's hardware, all their their supply chain, all their manufacturing, all that sort of stuff, help a Apple Watch competitor that is branded Google and owned by Google and sold in the Google store and not an OEM solution.
Yes, because Fitbit has all the infrastructure for health tracking that Google has been lacking. And now if you follow, I forget her name, but there's this great reporter who writes for CNBC and she covers all the health tech. And if you follow, reporters who are in that vein, like they always talk about what Apple is doing and who they're acquiring for health tracking to add like all these features to the Apple Watch. Imagine having that finally on Wear OS, like EKG sensors or just like the ability. I'm just thinking really far ahead, but Fitbit has had that infrastructure for so long and they've got the step counter down, like they've got it down to a T. So why not bring that in, bundle it with the style and grace of the Fossil group?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's IP there that is like coming into play in terms of like styles and different variables.
Yep.
And making that available. I don't know. It could be. It's also a bragging right, like Google plus Fitbit, a name that you know.
Yeah, you're talking about Christina Farr. Is that the?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
It's funny.
I didn't want to say the wrong person.
On her timeline, she points out Google previously acquired the Misfit Group from Fossil, and then someone called it Misfitbit. So that'll be the new name.
Right, and let's not forget that Google's health app is called Fit.
Oh,
right? So you've already got Fit in the mix. So
it's all just coming into play.
Fitbits mix.
Misfit is the name of the app.
Google Fit Misfitbit.
Nothing sounds like a word anymore.
You know what Fitbit has that Google Fit does not? Period tracking. So
thanks, Flo.
Oh, okay.
I mean, just putting it out there, like you want to be thought of as a watch for.
It's true. Absolutely.
Managing your health and like knowing what's going on with your body. I mean, Fitbit is there.
Is actually doing that.
There. Google's not there.
Yeah.
So
right. Well,
there are lots of Android apps that can do that, Flo.
Yes, it's true, but you want to integrate. I mean,
I know.
There's like 7 different.
And I mean, the Apple Watch has that, right? As far as I know,
they've had it for a long time.
Yeah, they've had it for a very long
huge
time.
Thing at one of their keynotes.
So. Absolutely. All right, Misfitbit Fit will be the name of the app once that releases.